Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I do not own the rights to this music, so please don't block me. Just gotta say that right off the bat. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, though. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hold on. I'm gonna get myself figured out here shortly. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. There we go. I like it. What's up, Melissa? How you doing? Happy March the 10th. I think it is what it is already. The month is off to a quick start. And so, welcome to Tuesday with Thom. I have got such a great word for you today. I cannot wait to get into it. And Melissa, thank you for tagging folks. Everybody, welcome to your weekly encouragement, your weekly boost. What else can I come up with? I hope that you guys are having a great day. So I just always get on here and start talking, because if you're watching this replay, it's weird whenever you have to like wait for, ever for the person to talk. And so I just start right out of the gate and start talking. So I was probably born talking. I don't know. I feel like I might have been. So welcome in, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm just gonna leave that like that is the phone. It's also hard whenever the comments get in the way of the person talking, right? So Melissa, you already know. I probably was born talking. Listen, you better just talk to God about it, because he made me like this and said, let's this one's gonna be a talker. Happy Tuesday, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome. My phone's just gonna buzz, and we just gonna have to hear it. When I go back and watch the replay, sometimes I'm like, oh Lord, that's loud. It's funny to me how it goes. So welcome in, everybody. Come on in. Happy Tuesday. Excited to be here with you guys. I have a great word to share. And so we'll give folks a few more minutes. Melissa, thank you for tagging everybody. Give them a minute to get their phone and figure out what's happening. All those things. So we're going to start a series today. I'm going to do a March series. And I kind of like this idea. So who knows? We may just do this every month. But we're going to do a March series. And I think it's going to be really, really good to just kind of have a theme and share with you guys each week a recurring theme. So excited to be here with you guys, and hope you're having a great day. The weather here in Oklahoma is hot. This is hot for March. It's 81, and we have some potential for some storms tonight, they say. And so we always our weather people keep us, in the loop a long time ahead. So all the things they do. So anyway, welcome in, everybody. Man, I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thank you for taking a little bit of time with me today. I know so many of you guys are just super busy, and it's hard to jump on. I find myself doing that very thing, that some days it just is so busy and so much going on right after the other, and I just can't always do it. So I definitely appreciate those of you that do, and just pray that it blesses you, that that the things that we share. So anyway, so we are in March already, like the 10th. We're a week in. I can't believe it. I guess there's 5. What's up, Whitney? What's up? How you doing? It's good to see you popping on here. I got a good word today. I can't wait to share with you guys. And so, yeah, we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do a March series and just kind of see. So I got good notes, and so Melissa will share them for me as we go through. But anyway, so for those of you guys that don't know, I have a whole publishing company, and God just literally blown my mind in the past, year, over a year now. But one of the first books that I wrote is, and that's what gave me the idea for this series, but the first book that I wrote is called Throne Room Conversations, and so I'm just going to hold it up for you to see. Throne Room Conversations. It's available on Amazon, and this is such a special book. It's kind of hard to explain because it's just so unique, but I just was spending time in prayer and just felt led to start writing. And so I didn't realize that prophetic writing is a thing, and writing, like that. And so that's what this is. This is a collection of things that I journaled for about a year and a half, as I felt like God spoke to me to write. And I literally hand wrote it initially. And so this is the first book that I published, that I wrote it and published, and I had no idea what God was going to do with this and from this point. And so I want to encourage y'all today. There's so much that that this book will speak to. So if you don't have this book, I really encourage you to get it. So we're going to talk about this a lot this month, because some of this stuff is so good. And I've been so busy. I've written 2 other books since then, and now I'm helping other authors write theirs and get their stuff out. But this one just is kind of set there on the shelf a little bit, and I pick it up every once in a while, and it really ministers to me. And so I was just trying to figure out a way to work it, to talk more about it. And so that's what I did. So instead of chapters, I do conversations. So conversation 1, conversation 2. And so this, I just started from the very first conversation. And so we're going to talk about that today. And so our March series is going to be called, it is called Walking in the Impossible. So if you're tuning in and you don't normally, this word is for you. And if you're watching the replay, you are here on purpose. And so stick with this, because I know that God's going to speak to you about through this word today. So walking in the impossible. Our theme, yes, Whitney, I love that. I so love that. Yes, you definitely need to encourage that, because that is just so good to get your thoughts out. So, so walking in the impossible today. So our theme verse for this series, for this whole month, and we're going to be talking about it a lot, is Matthew 19:26. And with man it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So walking in the impossible, with man it is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Those things that God's got you doing, those crazy, outlandish things, you're just having to trust God. With man's negative voice and negative words, it's impossible. And what are you doing? You're crazy. But with God, all things are possible. And so, Nikki Gory, what's up, my sis? Happy social worker month. I already told you, but just want to tell you again, I saw you on here, so I love you. So so today we're going to talk about stepping out of the boat. Step out of the boat. This, of course, goes with, and I'm going to talk about certain lines or certain, little bit from the first chapter or the first conversation. And that's obviously what we're talking about, is getting out of the boat and Peter walking on the water and that kind of theme, or that thought. So get that story in your head. But, so step out of the boat. That's our point for today is, or the title, so to speak, is step out of the boat. So I want to talk about today some things that maybe you wrestle with or you struggle with. The distance between what God has shown you and where you are. So you have this vision, you see it, but it's in the distance. It feels like it's just out of reach. And so in the book, in this first chapter, it starts, the things that seem just out of reach and in the distance are yours. So just because they're out of reach does not mean they're not yours. They are yours. And so, sometimes our vision feels far away, right? We can't necessarily see it, but, or we can't reach it, but it's there. And so, sometimes it even feels impossible. There's been some times through this, year and several years actually, where it feels impossible, but it's not out of reach altogether, right? It's there on purpose. The goal is there. The vision that he gave you is there on purpose. And so, but what if it isn't out of reach at all? What if it's waiting for you to step out of the boat? Action, right? Faith without works is dead, the Bible tells us. And so you have to put feet to your faith, right? Action. Proof is in the pudding, as the old saying goes, right? And so, what if it's waiting for you to step out of the boat? It's there. It's your promise. It's your vision that God gave you, but there's a distance between you and it. And so that distance is growth. That distance is maturity. That distance is determination. That distance is tuning out the naysayers and what people say that you can and cannot do. That distance, it requires you to become something different than you are right now. I promise you, the Thom that I was even last year at this time, I said this last week, I'm totally different in so many ways than I was. So much more confident. I've learned so much in a year. It's incredible. And so, but there was a distance between where I was and this vision that God gave me. And I had to move through, where I was to where I am and even where I'm going, because God it's not like he dangles a carrot in front of us and we're constantly, he's not teasing us, but it's motivating. For me, that is. And so you get to a place, but that's not where you're going to stay. You're not going to land there and build a brick house. You may pitch a tent and you may get a rest for a minute, but you're moving, because now this growth gives us determination to go the next step and see a new vision and push ourselves to something else far beyond what we ever even thought that we could do. And so, Tanya, welcome in. Good to see you. So, the vision is not a mirage, because God's not a jokester. He's not a trickster. He don't play with you, and he don't play about you, right? And so it's getting you to be motivated to want to push yourself and learn and grow and do. And so, God does not place dreams in your heart to tease you. It's not a trick, like I said. And so, The things that you see in the distance, it may be your calling. It may be a business that God has dropped in your heart to start. It may be a book, right? Of course, I got to talk about a book. Maybe it's a ministry, a healing. Maybe you've been sick and you got to figure out what's the root cause of this illness. Maybe you got to change your diet. Maybe you got to get some exercise. Maybe you got to do something that's a little different, because where you are, this ain't working. And so I've got to figure this out so that I can move forward, right? And so, maybe it's freedom, right? I've been in situations with jobs and stuff like that where a very narcissistic, manipulative person, and I was seeking freedom, right? But I had to go through a process to get through that, to grow, and because God knew what He had for me on the other side of that, and it was going to take tenacity. It was going to take me believing that I could hear God, right? And believing that what man says, what man thinks is irrelevant to what God's promises for me and what God's promises for you. And so, Angel, what's up? What's up? So, let's see. So, God is showing you what is possible when you walk with Him, right? This is a journey that we have to walk with Him. He knows the way. And so, Juanita, welcome. So, He knows the way. And He's going to show us, like I said, this isn't a trick. He didn't give you this dream or this vision or this goal just to sit on it and not do anything with it. It's going to take action. And so, but God is so patient, man. He is so patient. He'll walk as slow as we need to walk. But sometimes we get nudged. Like today, I hope and pray that this nudges you and it stirs up something within you to say, God, yes, revive that vision that's in me that's been laying dormant. Father, forgive me for sleeping on you. Forgive me for sleeping on me, God. And help me to recognize that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You didn't give this to me for just nothing. I can do this. And so I want to talk about the boat, right? We're talking about Peter getting out of the boat and walking on the water, right? It's one of my most favorite stories in the Bible. But when God gave me this word originally, the conversation that's in the book, the first one, this was so heavy on me and it was so amazing. But I want us to talk about the boat for a second, because the boat represents safety. In the conversation, I wrote that step out of the boat and let go of the safety of the ladder. Because I believe when God showed this to me, that this boat that Peter and the rest of the disciples were in, and some of the ladies that were traveling with them, it wasn't no tiny little rowboat. This was a big fishing boat, right? And so I want you to get a vision of this boat, y'all. It's big, right? And so for Peter to go out of the boat, y'all, he didn't just casually step over the side. I believe that he had to, I believe it was a process of him to get up out of this boat. And so in my mind, maybe there was a ladder that was on the side. Maybe it wasn't that big, but for the sake of this story, there's going to be a ladder, right? And so, we got to step outside of the safety of the boat, the comfort of the boat, right? The boat was keeping them warm and dry and protected, right? And so, the boat is comfort. The ladder is the backup plan. Come on. Somebody grab that, because, okay, God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step out of the boat. I'm going to do what you said. And then you get just to the ladder and you freeze and you just hang on to it. Oh God, this is deeper than I thought. This don't look like I thought it was going to look. I mean, God, I did it. I started moving. I gave you my yes, but I'm frozen on this ladder and I can't move. That's the backup plan. Y'all, we gotta abandon all that junk. We gotta get away from the backup plan. And Roxanne, come on in here. And so sometimes we want the miracle, but we refuse to release the safety net. Come on. we got to say, Pastor Kim says this all the time, God, you're either going to catch me when I fall or you're going to teach me how to fly. And I've learned over the past, especially year and few months, that God's caught me a few times and God's taught me how to fly a few times, but never once have I hit the ground. It's been a little shaky some days. I've been a little unsure of myself a few days and a few times and a few, situations. But God is not going to wreck his reputation on us. If he said it, he gave it to you. He's gonna watch over his word to perform it. He is not a man that he's gonna lie. We have so many people around us that lie and, don't follow through on their word and all the things. But that's not God. And so, Peter got up out of the boat. He crawled down the ladder, if there was one. Nonetheless, he had to get over the side. He got to the water and he walked on water. Jesus and Peter are the only people that ever walked on water, right? And so Peter did. But Peter had to get out of the boat first, right? And there was something within Peter that once they recognized that it was Jesus, right? Once they recognized that it was Jesus, Peter was like, yo, what's up? If that's you, let me come out there. I want to see you right now, God. I don't want to wait till you to get to me. I got to see this for myself. If you're walking on water, you said, God, greater things than this shall we do, right? The same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in us. So come on, God, let's go. Let me come to you. Jesus was like, come on. So, but Peter had to first get out of the boat and make that leap of faith, all the pun intended. So now he's out of the boat, right? The boat's safety. The ladder's the backup plan, right? Now he's abandoned that. And so, yes, Roxanne, happy birthday. I pray that your day's going good. So, now I want to talk about the water. This is point 3. The water represents the impossible. Think about that, y'all. Water. We go on cruises, at least once a year. There's nothing like it for me. I love being out in the middle of the ocean and there's all this water around this ship, right? And these ships are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this, one of the ones that we've been on is the biggest one, I think, in the world right now. It's incredible. It's huge. The fact that it even floats is a miracle to me. But like I said, I love being out there. And they're just, the moonlight's gorgeous and the breeze and the waves and seeing the ocean and all the stuff. But, so the water represents the impossible, right? Because it's endless. There's so much of it. We can't control it, really. And so, in the book, the conversation says, this water is all of the things in your life you think are impossible. So we're in a boat. We're surrounded by the water. All these things that seem impossible. You're a woman. You can't do that. You're this. You're that. You've been this. You've done that. You've been married. Whatever the situation might be. You were in special ed. You don't know, you don't even know how to start a business. You don't even know the first thing about clothing design. You don't even know the first thing about writing a book. You don't even know the first thing about podcasting, doing a conference. Angel Brown, come on, right? Who do you think you are, to do any of this? Impossibility, right? That's what it seems like. And so the water represents fear, anxiety, doubt, uncertainty, risk. Come on, somebody. Risk. It feels like it's impossible, right? And so, but here's the miracle. Jesus didn't remove the water, right? He invited Peter to walk on it. He used what seemed impossible for the miracle. And so he didn't remove it. He's not going to remove all the impossibilities. He's not going to remove all the naysayers. He's not going to remove all the obstacles, right? He's going to use those things. He will work all things together for our good according to His purpose and His plan for our life, right? And so those things that we feel like are obstacles or impossibilities, why do we think that God won't use those things? He will. He will use those things. Hey, Joy, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. So God will use all those things just to show people that it can be done and to show you that it can be done. Like I said, I didn't know the first thing about writing a book. And now here I am helping other people do that. And so the fourth point is distractions will try to pull your eyes away, right? Distractions are everywhere. In the conversation, I put, do not pay attention to the distractions around you, right? The water, it's a distraction. And so Peter walked on the water until he looked at the storm, until he looked at the impossibilities, until he realized what he was doing, right? Come on. If you've ever started a business, if you've ever started, Genevieve, welcome. If you've ever started a business, if you've ever written a book, if you've ever done anything that was bigger than you, then you should be able to relate to this. You're in the middle of it, right? You started a t-shirt company. You started, blinging out trucker hats. You've written a book. You started a podcast. You've started a business. You're gonna do a conference. You started a new job. Whatever it is for you, put that in that blank. But Peter walked on the water until he saw the storm, and it jarred him back to reality of what he was even doing. And so the same thing happens to us, y'all. The same things. And so, but distractions today can be opinions of other people, right? Like I said, you're crazy to quit your job and start a business. You're crazy nobody's gonna want that. There's a million people writing books. There's all these publishing companies. What? Nobody's gonna want to do that. You're just, what? Criticism. Well, if I was doing it, I would have totally done it this way. Why didn't you ask me? I would have, right? Well, because you're negative and because I didn't ask you. That's why. I mean, for whatever reason it might be. Comparison. God, we sometimes compare ourselves to other people. Badly, right? Jealousy, comparison, negativity. That list can be endless, right? And so, fear and just noise. Y'all, the noise of the enemy is so loud around us. Of just, we're moving at such Mach speed these days, it feels like, that there's just so much noise around that if you're not careful, man, you can get sucked down and sucked out because it's loud. And so, but our faith grows when we keep our eyes on God, because He is the author and finisher of our faith, right? And so we have to keep our eyes on Him because He is the one that gave us this vision. He gave us this desire, this need to do whatever it is that He's got us to do. One of our friends here in Oklahoma City, she takes clothes and repurposes them and adds some stuff to them, cuts them and rips out the seams and adds other material to it and repurposes it. Well, that's a fantastic. Gwendolyn, welcome. It's amazing. And so God gave her that talent, that vision, that goal. And so, it's incredible to see people doing these big, crazy, hairy, audacious goals and these big, great things, because y'all, it pushes me. It keeps me motivated. When I feel like I'm hearing some crazy things from God, I can, it keeps me going when I see that. And so, so the fifth point is freedom is found in movement. Freedom is found in movement. Faith without works is dead. So in the book, the conversation I put is begin to move on the very thing you feared Freedom is in the movement. Y'all, this is so powerful because that water was all the things that we fear. It's all the things that we feel like are impossible. But when you start moving on those things, when you start acting on those things and using those things as your footstool, right? As your stepping stones. I may not know how to do it today, but God, teach me. Teach me and I will do it. Guide me to the right places. Show it to me in a way, God, that I'm going to understand it. Because I've had to pray this a lot. God, you're going to have to dumb this down just a little bit more because I'm not quite getting it. And I got to get it. But it's that tenacity. It's that push that keeps me going. That keeps me having a push and keeps me having to go. So, freedom does not come from waiting forever. Freedom doesn't come from sitting in a boat, dealing with it over and over and over, year after year after year, the same junk, the same crap from the same people, right? Freedom is movement, and it comes from when you take the step. Write the first page. Start the business. Get your LLC. Think of a business. Start with a Facebook page. Make the call. Reach out to somebody who's doing something that you want to do and ask questions. Y'all, I've said this before. I'm not competing against anybody. I'm competing against me. I'm competing against the Thom of yesterday. It's me on me. It's nobody else. And so, anybody else gonna start doing what I do? Let's go. Let's go. Let's collab, right? Let's talk about it. I'll learn from you. You learn from me, because the people that God has assigned to me are for me. The people that God has assigned to you are for you. There's no, you can't have what's mine. I can't have what's yours. So, say yes to God. Give God your yes. Maybe that's the first point. Y'all, sometimes that's scary, man. Giving God your yes is scary. But when you do, then you learn that you can trust God, right? And He's got you. Angel, that's good. I love you. I know you're busy at doing all the things. So, movement unlocks faith, right? You can't stay locked up in bed all day in a dark room, windows closed, and not moving. You have a call, you have the gift, you have a talent, you got to move, you got to go, you got to do it. Make a call. Ask crazy questions. I talked to a realtor the other day, and I'm like, yo, bro, I need a space. God's got some things brewing, and I need a space. What you got? What you can help me with? Listen, it's crazy. I hear the words coming out of my own mouth, and it's crazy. But, okay, God, you dropped it, you said it, I'm doing it, let's go. If it don't work right now, it's going to work later, it's going to work out whenever it's supposed to. But, so, movement unlocks faith, right? If you started working out, you go into the gym, man, I don't fit in here. I'm fat. I don't even know the right clothes to wear. I'm so self-conscious. I get hot and sweaty. Blah, 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 whatever, all the things. Movement. Keep going. Keep doing it. Because then when you start losing a pound, you lose 5 pounds, you lose 10 pounds. Man, there's nothing like that for motivation, right? 5 pounds, shoot. Stuff starts getting a little baggy. You better come on. I'm going to start wearing some stuff I hadn't worn in a minute, right? Motivation, it keeps you going. It's celebrating those small wins that keeps you motivated. Don't deny yourself that. Don't just be so, deadlocked on 3 months from now that you forget to celebrate what's happening right now. Dr. Destiny's on here, and she has written a book. She's been on podcasts and just, doing all these great things too. So many of you guys. Angel's getting ready to do a conference next week. Y'all be praying. That's going to be powerful. And so those, like I said, y'all, those are the things that keep me motivated. Seeing you guys move, seeing you guys do those things. Because I get it. Movement unlocks faith. it takes faith to do some of these things. Last year when we did our conference, I didn't know how it was all going to get paid for, but I knew that God said to do this, and He was with us every step of the way. The conference was in September last year. It's going to be in September this year, but it just all came together. Every single person that was supposed to be involved was there. They were a huge part of it. Every single detail was handled to the perfect little detail. Just every little thing. And so, and then a couple weeks before, conference was totally paid for. God made a way. $20,000, y'all. $21,000. Totally paid for. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that God told me what to do, and He gave me this dream and this plan and this vision that I had to get out of the boat, let go of the ropes, let go of the ladder, and say, God, I trust You. I don't know how You're going to do this, but I know that You're going to do it, because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than the people that were around me that were helping. It was bigger than us. But God worked it out. $20,000 was no chump change. It was nothing to, just blow off. But it was so incredible. It was, Pastor Kim said something, I believe it was this morning or last night on the Inner Circle. If God said you to do something, you better do it like you're doing it with 5,000 people. I've said this before. If you've never gone live on Facebook, if you've never done a video talking, blah, 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 it's hard. It's very hard, especially when nobody gets on the call and nobody, it doesn't feel like anybody's joining, and God's giving you something to share. You better do it like 5,000 people's watching. And that's something that I've tried to grab onto, because right now it looks to me like there's 8 people watching. 8. I love all 8 of you, and I appreciate you showing up every month. But you know what? One of these days, if I keep doing what God said, and He chooses to grow it, Pastor Kim, I think, had 500 and something on this morning just on Facebook, right? She didn't start there. She started with 8. She started with 5, right? And there's millions of people that can say the same thing. But it takes movement, it takes faith, it takes obedience, doing it repetitively, being consistent. That's what all of this is about. It's not always a one-time thing. I don't. When a new author reaches out to me that wants me to work with them, y'all, I'm like, holy cow, I don't know if I can do this. I'm working on a children's book right now, y'all, that's incredible. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, God. You know what? I did. It was way easier than I thought. And some of this stuff, man, I'm learning every day. Every day. Whitney's on here. She's an incredible artist. She paints anything. Man, and I pushed her. Lord, she probably like, God, why'd you bring him in my life? I've given her jackets. She's painted jackets for me. Banners, all sorts of stuff. And so those are the people that keep around you, people that push you, people that make you think outside the box, right? That gives you these ideas and these thoughts. And thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. And that's the kind of people that I need in my life, right? That says, oh, of course you can do that, right? When I asked Whitney to paint those jackets for me, it was never a thought in my mind that she couldn't do it. Not even a second. Not even a second. And you know what? She did. And she knocked it out of the water. It's incredible. It's better than what I thought it could be. And so, Melissa, she helped me revamp the website. Y'all, she didn't know how to do that last year. I said this last week, but maybe I'll say it every week. I don't care. But, push. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's figure this out. Let's make this great. I need it bigger. I need it bolder. That's a good start, but what about this? Then she pours into me and she says, okay, Thom, hold up. What about this? This is not in line like it needs to be. Let me fix that. Let me get this over here. Hold on just a second. And now, y'all, she's flipping and flying through that like she's been doing it her whole life. And so that keeps me fired up. That's right, Whit. You know I'm going to push. I'm going to push. But, and so, I want to leave y'all with this, is God's not asking you to understand the water. He's not asking you to understand what seems impossible. He's asking you to trust Him enough to take that step, take that leap, and do the thing that He has called you to do, that He's asked you to do, right? And so, those things that seem just out of reach, they're not a mirage. It's not a tease. It's ours. But we have to put in the work. You have to have those growing pains, and you have to go through the stuff, and you have to, Whitney, you know it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I love that Whitney brought that up, because Whitney was a huge part of our conference last year in September. And so she's an artist, and I knew it, man. It's like God showed it to me in just, I could see it, right? I didn't know how she was going to do it, but I knew that I had all the faith in her. And so she has such an amazing company. It's called The Baggage Movement. So if y'all have never checked it out, check out her website. Check out the things that she's doing. The Baggage Movement. She paints on leather, purses, handbags, wallets, straps for the purse, or keychain, y'all, jackets, all sorts of stuff. Whitney, I have a pair of white shoes I've been keeping my eye on. I've been looking at, so get ready. I may be giving you some shoes to customize. But anyway, so I reached out to her and I was like, Whitney, man, I feel this so strong in my spirit that you're supposed to be a part of this, and share your story and share what God is giving you in this unique, amazing take on things, and your gifting, your talent. But I told her, I was like, I want you to thank you, Melissa. I want you to paint as you talk, because it's such a powerful representation, and it'll, it's just gonna grab people, right? And so didn't even have a clue. Last year in June, we went to the conference, Pastor Kim's conference in Atlanta. She had somebody painting. Blew my mind. I was like, thank you, God, for that confirmation. Because the lady that was painting, she painted this big lion. It was incredible, man. When someone was speaking and she was just painting, and God was just flowing through her. And so, okay, Whitney, I need you to, this is what I need. She's like, Thom, I can't talk and paint at the same time. And so I was like, okay, well, you're going to figure it out. This is what I'm saying. And you can do this. And so, you know what? She figured it out. She pre-painted some of it. Then she had somebody help her. And y'all, what she did, it blew our socks off. It was so powerful. It was so perfect that, I mean, I don't even know if she was ready, but just for the impact, right? She was ready, but for the impact. And when you can speak into people's spirit, man, you can speak to their soul from something that God has given you. There is nothing like it, because you're the vessel, right? Most of these people aren't people that are so stuck up and rude and haughty and think they're all that. Whitney's one of the kindest, people that I know, and she's not about that life. She is, just very humble, and it was powerful. But she had to step out of the boat. She had to let go of the safety of the ladder. She had to figure some stuff out, and when she did, what God did with it was amazing. It was amazing. And so I say that to encourage you, because maybe it's not that particular thing for you, but what is it with you? What is the thing that God is giving you, that vision, that talent, that call, that you're supposed to be doing something with, and you're just not doing anything with it? You're miserable, you're depressed, you're sad, you're whatever. Movement is freedom, right? And so it was just incredible, and so the things that God gives us to do, it will push you. It will push you. Guaranteed, 100%. Because if it doesn't, then it's not big enough, and you need to go back to the prayer room, and you just say, "Oh, hold up, God, that's not big enough. I need my assignment." And April, what's up? Welcome in here, Pastor April. So, we have to push ourselves, and we have to grow through all these impossibilities and through the negativity that's around us all the time. Because, like I said, there's some things, I promise you, when I'm looking at some of these books, I get frustrated. I'm like, oh, I'm not getting it. God, what is it? Just last night, y'all. Just last night, I was working on a project. I was trying to get a book formatted for the Kindle version or the e-version, and it just wasn't working. I couldn't figure it out. Got on ChatGPT, and I was like, what? To me, for whatever reason, that particular thing, it wasn't working. And so I would tweak something, and there's such a process to it, all right? It's not just a little tweak. You gotta make the change, then you gotta save it, then you gotta download it, then you gotta open a different app, and then you gotta download it into that app, and then you gotta go through those steps, then you gotta save it in that format, and then you gotta go back over here and upload it from that format. And so when I did that 7 or 8 times, because I was determined, I knew that this was doable, right? What is it I'm missing? And so sometimes those are things that we experience in whatever it is that God's got you to do. Maybe it's just because it's Tuesday, right? Maybe it's not some big grandiose thing. It's just trying to get through the day. And so finally, I made the right tweak at the right time, and it was the thing. It was it. And then I was able to finish the rest of it, save it, upload it, download it, tweak it, shave it, all the things. And y'all, I did myself a little victory dance because it came through. I was able to do what I didn't think I could at, about 30 minutes before that. And so, it encouraged me, right? And so that's a small win that I'm celebrating, because even though I've been doing it, it still made me feel excited whenever I was able to do that and able to figure it out. And so, but I could have given up. I could have said, this is too hard. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I could have messaged the author and said, I'm sorry, I just can't do this. And, Donna, welcome in. Glad you made it. But I didn't. I didn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't make myself do that. Right? And so, because I'm competitive, I know God's voice. I know that because y'all, if I don't learn right now, then it's going to affect me the next time. It's going to affect me tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. Right? And so I'm still growing and learning and building. Right? And so that I can have a little more confidence when somebody brings a project to me, that I can say, absolutely, got this. I may be having to do a bunch of research, but I'm going to figure it out. And so it's just exciting. And so I hope that you guys are encouraged today. Get out of the boat, man. Take those steps. God's calling and giftings and those visions that He's given you, they're not trickery, right? It's to get you to move, push past you to the things that you think are impossible. The uncomfortableness of this season has brought you here, right? That's a powerful thing God shared with me. The uncomfortableness of this season has brought you here. So uncomfortableness of growth, uncomfortableness of not knowing exactly how to do what you're doing, the uncomfortableness of, can I do this, right? But what's up, Pastor Connie? Come on in. So y'all be encouraged, get excited. I'm praying for you guys that some of the things that God has got us doing out here is big. It's bigger than us. The enemy hates us. The enemy wants to fight us. The enemy's gonna try everything he can to keep you from doing what you're supposed to do. The stories that I see, the stories that people trust me with, that I'm able to, finish and take over the finish line, those are powerful stories. Stories that are going to help rip people from literal situations of hell. And so, of course, the enemy doesn't want me to do that, right? The enemy doesn't want me to help you write your story, get your story published, do whatever it is you need me to do, right? And so I have to remind myself of that. This is a spiritual attack. Okay, I got to spend more time praying. I got to stay focused. I got to ask, God, keep me focused. And so, like I said, whatever it is that God has you doing, or the vision that God is giving you, maybe it's behind the scenes. Little people even know, few people even know about it. It doesn't matter. If it's the back of the line, the front of the line, the middle of the line, front, back, side to side, whatever, it's the vision and the talents and the gifts that God has given you. And Sandy Wilson, what's up? So, growth, y'all, growth. Your call, your giftings, all these things require growth. That's the thing that's going to get you from here to there. Not like I said, it's not a trick. It's not a mirage. It's not for you. You just got to go from here to there, right? Where I'm physically sitting right now isn't where I live, right? I can't see my home from here, but I know how to get there. So I have to be in the vehicle that I'm in, right? That's going to get me from point A to B. I know how to operate this vehicle, right? It doesn't take faith for me to get in this car and turn it on and make it go, right? Now, there have been times in my life where I drove a vehicle that took me faith, right? Come on, somebody. I didn't know if it was going to start today or not. God, I don't know if I got enough gas to get from here to there. I don't know if it's going to kick over or not. But, so my whole point of that is I can sit here for the rest of my life, or I can use the vehicle that I'm in and get me from point A to point B. And so that's our growth. Use what you've got and push through, take the test, learn, read the books, get online, Google it, Chat GPT it, whatever it takes. And Susan, welcome. Right, Connie? I mean, or you can just sit where you are and do nothing and just wither away. There's a song that Forrest Frank sings, and it's called Well Done. And it's such, I mean, there's just sometimes it's a sentence or a word in a song that just grab me, man, and I can tear up. But he says, when your eyes meet mine, I want you to say that you were a friend of mine, that I was a friend of yours. And I want to hear you say, well done, my good and faithful servant, right? That's my goal, is that God knows me, that I know God, that we've been intimate and we have this relationship, so that I've done the things that he's called me to do, and I don't get there and him say, depart, I gave you all these gifts and talents and you didn't do anything with them. Why didn't you do anything with them? And so, it was, I had the sweetest moment a while ago. For my job, some of the things that I do is we set up activities and crafts and things like this in nursing homes, assisted livings, memory care, all these things. And so this is a pretty great functioning group of people. There's about 6 or 8 of them. And now they've started to get excited when they see me coming, because they know I'm crazy. They know I'm going to be extra. They know I'm going to do all the fun things, right? And one of the ladies literally was like, what did you got for us today? I mean, she was ready, right? And so she's one of the ones that's always there. She participates. And so, man, I start slinging stuff. I'm like, if Thom comes, we're going to do something fun and extra. And so I start all the things, right? And opening packages and all these fun things. And so, this particular lady is 95 years old and she goes. She is so active and she goes. And so, we were just talking, and she said, one of the other ladies had said, "Oh, she's a painter. You should go see her room." And so here Miss Gladys goes. She's like, "Come on, Thom." So she grabs me up, 95, y'all, and we truck it down the hall to her room, and she lets me in her room, and she's showing me all around, and just as proud as can be. And she is the most magnificent painter. She's painted all these farm scenes, and one of the farms she grew up on, and these are all from memory, from how she remembers it when she was little. Y'all, 95, and she's got probably 30, 40 pictures, maybe not that many, at least 25. Okay, her family has put them all over her walls, all these magnificent paintings that she's done. And she's got a little bird that that they brought from home, and they try to make this as homey as possible. And something that she said really got me, because it so goes along with this, because as we were walking down the hall to her room, she said that we were just chit-chatting, and she said she's been there, maybe a year or two. And I said, "Hey, how you liking it?" And she said, "Well, it's not home, but it's good." And she said, I'm getting used to it. And so, but then she said, "But home isn't like it used to be either." And so many times we get stuck wanting to stay home. We want to stay in the boat. But home isn't what it used to be either, right? Things are growing and moving. And sometimes we have to go to a different place that feels unfamiliar and it looks different. And we have to take things with us, and we have to decorate a new place, and we have to spread the giftings and the talents that God's given us. Turn it into a crybaby, y'all. And so, but it blessed me so much that this amazing little 95-year-old woman would care enough to share those things with her. And so she couldn't stay at home anymore, right? She had some major surgery, and she wasn't able to care for herself anymore. And so home didn't look like it used to be. So she had to move someplace new, and she had to go where she needed to be. The place where she needed to be. And so she decorated a new place. And now she's able to share those things with other people around her, that if she would have stayed home, she would have never been able to do that, right? And so she's thriving. She's thriving. She's doing great. It's not home, but it's a good place that she like I said, she needed to make that transition. And so sometimes that's what we need to do as well. The familiar, sometimes we have to get a step out of the familiar, and we have to trust that God's going to take us where He wants us to be. And and it's hard. It's hard. And so, I take every day getting to see these people, with the work that we do with hospice. It changes people's lives when they're facing the end of their life, right? And so now is our time. Now is our time to step out of the boat, transition. The old forgetting the former things, right? The old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And so embracing what's now. Yes, sometimes we have to grieve. Sometimes we have to grieve what's gone, but we also have to, again, go through that process, work through that, whatever that looks like. Push, never stop growing, never stop learning, never stop challenging yourself to do what God has called you to do, because nobody else has your assignment. Nobody else can paint that picture like she did. And getting to see that, it was just such a bright spot on my day today that I didn't know I needed. I didn't know what I was going to get. And you know, I didn't necessarily know that I had time for it, but God made time. The activity we finished pretty quickly. And so I was like, thank you, God, for this moment in time right now that I get to enjoy this and take this in and be able to, you know, experience her world for a second and say hello to her little bird and all these things. And so, that's just my example, right? That's just my example. And so, step out of the boat, walk on the water, walk on those things that felt impossible, and watch God blow your mind, because I promise you He will. I promise you He will. Y'all, I love you so much. That's my hour. I try to keep that pretty close to that. So I love you. I'm praying for you, and I pray that that this blessed you. And pray for me. I pray for you. And I'll see you next week. Don't forget, we're in a series now. And so next week, let me pull my note back up. Next week, we're going to talk about learning to hear the whisper. You are not going to want to miss this, y'all. It's going to be good. And so the whole month, we have, there's 4 more weeks of Tuesdays. Well, 3 now. But, yeah, hour of power. You better come on. Learning to hear the whisper. And so come on back. Tag other people. Somebody that you think might need to hear it. Share this with somebody. Melissa will have it on my YouTube, so you can go back on YouTube and watch it. And so, y'all, I love you so much. And, yes, Sandy, for sure. I know. Me too. Me too. So, okay, y'all, I love you. Have a great week. The great rest of your week. And, I'll see you on the flip. I love you. Thank you, Melissa.